Hello everybody, I am not dead yet, and today I want to talk to you all about the squat, more specifically the barbell back squat, and why I just don't do them anymore. This video was inspired by my good buddy Tom Lazorik, who made a video on this exact topic, and I believe that I can actually add to the conversation. So Tom was originally inspired by Geoffrey Verity Schofield, who kind of just talked about how you don't need to include any exercise in your program for a myriad of reasons, and Tom ran with that, and basically said he doesn't like squatting, but he believed that he should because that's what everyone said, you need to build your legs, and he just doesn't squat anymore because he doesn't like it, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. And he essentially encourages people to find exercises they enjoy that work for them, and that's all well and good, but I think I can actually add to this conversation in the sense that I can give a definitive example of where heavy barbell back squats just aren't ideal and do not work for me. Because again, if in case you need a reminder, I am not a lifter, I am not a power lifter, I am not a bodybuilder, I am not, even just lifting for aesthetics. I am a boxer, and because of my specific goals, heavy barbell back squats just do not make a lot of sense. For starters, heavy barbell back squats, at least for me, are really, really hard on my knees. I find when I go down, there's all the clicking and crackling, and it's really tough on my knees. And I already do a lot of exercises that put a huge strain on my knee joints. More specifically, for those who follow me on Instagram, running not just outside in whatever brutal weather is out there for long distances, relatively speaking anyway, 6 kilometers. But I also wear ankle weights, and ankle weights are really, really hard. Any weights that you run with on your extremities are really hard on the associated joints. And I've noticed that because of that, I've actually had to switch up certain exercises that I do because of the strain that it places on my knee joints. I used to do hamstring curls, lying hamstring curls on the bench you see behind me, but I found just because of the way that bench is structured, I can do regular hamstring curls or lying hamstring curls on an actual machine, but for that bench specifically, the way it was structured, it just puts so much tension and strain on my knee joint in the kind of hamstring area that I started to feel a lot of pain, and so I had to kind of retool my program and what I was doing and swap that out for banded hamstring curls instead, where I can still feel a good burn, I can still get, some of that activation on the hamstrings, but at the same time it's not putting a ton of strain on the hamstring joint, or not the hamstring joint, the back of my knee joint. And it's the exact same thing for heavy barbell back squats. When I squat heavy, or at least when I used to, I haven't squatted heavy in probably 4 or 5 years, probably going on 6, something like that. I don't really keep count, but back when I used to squat heavier, I would always feel it in my knees. They would always be crickling and crackling, and it was just something that wasn't very comfortable for me, and I didn't find it very fun either. So I just kind of stopped doing them, and I swapped it out for more for more exercises that could achieve the same function while not putting so much strain on my knees. I actually find that as much as people meme on it, the leg press machine works a lot better for me in that regard. I still get to work essentially a lot of the same muscles and muscle groups. However, it's just not putting so much strain on my knees. And if we continue with that, and I mean, yes, I understand that the barbell back squat is a lot more of a full body thing with you having to engage stabilizing muscles, etc. But because of my program is a full body workout anyway on top of my boxing training, I'm not too worried about those stabilizing muscles. They do get hit in other areas of my training. And honestly speaking, being able to run that distance with those weights is just simply more important to me than lifting heavy with the squat. And I find that lifting heavy with the squat doesn't really have any value to me, because what I'm really trying to build at the end of the day is explosive power. And sure, you can say, oh, like you can build explosive power off heavy squats. You can, but to me there are other ways to do that, as opposed to just, you know, the simple swap out that I would do for barbell back squat to the leg press. I would actually do jump squats, and I actually, back for a little bit there when I was moving around and I didn't really have a lot of equipment to really settle in with, and I would just basically use sandbags. I would throw a 55-pound sandbag on my back and do about 4 sets of 15 jump squats. And I know people would say, well, probably, oh, well, that puts a lot more strain on your knees than an actual regular squat because of the impact of you landing, potentially, and that is something that is to be considered, but one, I don't do it very often. It's something that I would substitute in on rotation as I see fit, and I just haven't really seen the need to actually do it as of late. But two, I just don't feel it as much. I feel like I'm better able to absorb the impact with the way that I go down and the way I explode up out of it. Just a lot better than a slow, grindy rep of a heavy barbell back squat. And even like if it's not necessarily like a 1 rep max heavy squat, if I'm doing, let's say, 4 sets of 10 on the squat and I'm really grinding out that last rep of 10, I don't really find that there's a whole lot of need for me to do that, at least on the barbell back squat, that I couldn't get from other exercises like the aforementioned leg press. And so the reason why I go for more explosive power is because that's kind of what I'm doing when I box. My boxing style is based a lot on momentum and exploding out because I'm short, so I have to get underneath people and explode upwards. And so for me, I like to build a lot more of explosive power. Even in terms of something like, let's say, the barbell bench press, I want to build that up a little bit more, so I'm training it a little bit more focused to just get a heavier bench because I want one. But even then, I'm not just focused on benching for bench's sake. I'm still trying to use that in service to my boxing. So after my 4th set, because I usually do 2 warm-up sets and then 4 like hard sets, right? So after my 4th hard set, when I rack the weight, I'll get down on the ground and do a set of 20 explosive clapping push-ups, which again are meant to generate that explosive power to help give me more power in my punches. And it's very similar to that with the squat. I'll do, let's say, and again, I don't do these all the time. It really depends on what I'm going for and what my goals are focused on that day. But I'll do, let's say, the set of leg press, and then I'll just cap it off with a set of like 20 jump squats for as high as I can go, or even just a set of 10 depending on my fatigue levels. And it's just that being able to generate explosive power when you're tired, right? And again, like a power lifter wouldn't do that, and I don't even think a bodybuilder would do that, because what's the point of doing a bunch of jump squats, right? It's important to keep in mind that specific goals require specific needs, and much like Tom mentioned in his video, a lot of fitness is very dogmatic. You need to do X, Y, Z thing, and it's like, no. And I've had a lot of people kind of look at me, the way I train, and just kind of go like, well, that's not optimal, like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, it's not optimal for you, but what you're doing isn't optimal for me. And I think it's important to realize that, much like Tom said, there's more than one way to do things, but even beyond that, it's important to really assess your goals, what you're trying to do, and then figure out the exercises that better suit those goals. Another example, if I were to do a squat, instead of doing something like a heavy barbell back squat, I would prefer to do something like a one-leg squat, which is something that I do, you know, intermittently every now and then, and I enjoy doing that. I, in fact, enjoy doing one-leg squats more than I'll do a heavy barbell back squat, because, again, based on my boxing style, it's like there's a lot of coming up off of one leg, and so because of that, being able to generate a lot of explosive power off from one leg is important to me. And there's other things that I've done in order to, again, help with that generation of power. Long jumps, just stand in place and do one big leap, that can help generate power. Or if even beyond that, single-legged long jumps. And again, like, these are things that you probably won't see bodybuilders do. You probably won't see bodybuilders doing a single-leg long jump in the gym for pretty much any reason. I mean, maybe they're out there, but it's definitely unusual. But to me, those things are invaluable, especially because a lot of boxing, at least for me, I mean, depends on your style, is a lot of shuffling in and out and jumping back and forth. So for me, being able to really explode and generate explosive power from one foot in an instant, especially when you're tired, is important. And And for those exercises, everything that I have listed off, to me, put a lot less strain on my knees than a heavy barbell back squat. And because of that, it allows me to do the training that I prioritize more, that being running with the weights, while continuing to build my legs and build power in my legs. And again, like Mr. Editor Man, Skybox Designs, please throw up the Instagram post I make where I show my legs. I think I've got some pretty decent legs, right? I'm pretty proud of the legs that I've built. So I think it just goes to show that you don't need anything specific, and that it's okay to stray from the quote-unquote beaten path or what you're supposed to do, because nothing's truly optimal for everyone. And honestly speaking, I could probably completely take out bench press, squat, and deadlift. In fact, I haven't really deadlifted in like half a year, 8 months, and I'm still doing fine. Right? And I mean, I'm very happy with my physique. I think my physique is great. If you like doing those things, I encourage you to do them all the way, but don't think that any of these things are a necessity, because thinking any of those things are a necessity cannot just be detrimental to your mindset, especially if you don't like them, but it can actually be detrimental to your goals, depending on what they are, right? In fact, if you really like squats and want to help like really build your legs and build a good lower body, especially if you're a boxer like me, for all of the people who really like EPO, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who do on my channel, considering those are the most viewed videos I've got, Kamogawa's recommendation of doing jump squats in a pool is probably one of the best things you can do. I'm a firm believer in those exercises, because one, it's a lot easier on your joints than regular squats. It's because you're in a pool, but it's also a lot more difficult than you think because of the resistance of the water. It really can not only help build strong legs, but also a strong lower body in general, including your lower back, because of how you're having to resist the pressure of the water. And again, couple that with higher reps, you can help build a little bit more stamina, help deal with lactic acid buildup in the legs, and it can really help you in your boxing. If you don't have access to a pool, I mean, again, regular jump squats or weighted jump squats, as long as you don't go super heavy on the weights, are a-okay. And there's various other things that you can do, but the point is that if you don't like heavy barbell back squats, there are either, or you have goals that conflict with heavy barbell back squats, there are various other things that you can do, and there are various other forms of the squat that can help you both build your body as well as other aspects of your health and your fitness and your athleticism, while at the same time keeping the integrity of everything else that you need and helping you push towards the goals that you actually want to make. Because I find that even people who are massive gym rats do seem to have different viewpoints on things, and sometimes it's a little bit hard for them to speak out because, again, they're very dogmatic in the fitness industry. But that is really all I have to say. That is really all I have for my edition here. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear them. Please check out Geoffrey Verity Schofield as well as Tom Lazorik. They will be linked in the description, along with the aforementioned Skybox Designs editor man. Thank you very much. I would not be able to put out videos without your help, but I'm pretty sure that's all of it. So until next time, thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. You guys mean the world. If you would like to support me on Patreon or any other way, all links will be in the description. But until the next one, I am not dead yet. And if you are not either, there is always a tomorrow waiting for you.